what does First Friday mean today? I like to see it as hope.
First Friday is a celebration.
A staple of Philadelphia.
A way to have people come back together in each other's presence.
First Friday is really important for the arts in Old City specifically.
There's magic here.
Old City was actually an underground arts community that had begun in the 1970s. So we knew many of the people that were players in that early scene, just as we were. All the buildings were available. They were never going to be what they were again. And so that really was something we really wanted to explore.
It was all factory, and there were a lot of empty spaces and artists living in lofts, heating with kerosene heaters and that kind of environment. And it was a neighborhood of pure creative spirit and energy. It was all about artists and makers and dancers.
We collaborated, we danced in the streets, we went into each other's studios, we made theater pieces together, and it was more about making than showing.
In 1990, I went around to a number of the galleries that were here, and I suggested that maybe we should create an arts association. So the point was that the Old City Arts Association was a small organization of the initial galleries. Maybe there were 15 or 18 of us. But how could it be expanded in some way? And so at a meeting of the Old City Arts Association, I said, maybe we should create an event where we all have an open house one night of the month. And we kicked the idea around for a while, and it got decided that Friday would be that day, the first Friday of each month. And that's how First Friday began. We had no idea that we were opening up a Pandora's box, as it were, because nothing like this had ever happened in Philadelphia before.
There was this new kind of movement in Old City. All of a sudden, Old City was packed with people, and people that loved art and looking at art.
It didn't just generate activity in the galleries. What began to happen was that other people, buskers, began to come. So there would be street musicians on the street on Friday night. And there would be people selling stuff in vending stands, and it was like this carnival.
The streets were filled with people, and that was all magical for the neighborhood.
What we had here was this fantastic space and a lot of freedom to do what we really are meant to do in the world, which is make art and music and theater.
The energy of a place is about people. And the First Friday experience was to take these virtually empty streets and turn them into people places.
The early 2000s, Old City was a vibe. It was the place to be. No one missed it. The streets would be flooded. There would be music. It was ecstatic.
We used to go to First Fridays when we were younger. This is 15, 16 years ago.
I remember just being inspired as an art student in a way that I hadn't encountered before.
I've spent a lot of time down here for First Fridays, just going to different galleries and enjoying the scene, and everyone has always been welcoming, and it's an opportunity for people to see beautiful artwork, meet beautiful people, and enjoy the neighborhood and see what some of the Philly art scene is like.
It was like I found this new world of art that I didn't think really existed in a gallery setting.
Old City embraced me. They embraced my vision. They embraced the story and the work that I was trying to show. I opened Vivant Art Collection to tell the story of people. There were a lot of other communities and ethnicities and genders that were not traditionally seen in the art gallery space or nor in traditional museums. And I became a home for that.
The importance of Black artists is representation in general. We have it obviously in the music industry. We should have it in the visual arts world. It's a lack of it in Philadelphia. While we represent a large part of the population, we still own less than 3% of the businesses in general, including art, probably even less in the art gallery realm. We just want to be be able to give people who otherwise may not be able to have their stuff featured a shot to have their pieces up.
Yeah, First Friday is important just as like a social networking thing without the internet, like a in-person social networking. You know, everyone that comes out is a fan of art, or they're a fan of culture at least, and so I think it's important for there to be a hub for that, and everyone knows First Fridays to be like an in-person celebration, like throughout Old City. COVID, the streets were empty, and it was really sad.
My experience opening a gallery in Old City during the pandemic has been a stressful one, but I think it was unfortunate and beneficial at the same time.
We were really nervous about how are we gonna keep in business. Social media really helped a lot. The pivot that we did to being all online was really like an eye-opening experience for us, and we adapted into new ways on how an art gallery can survive with not having a physical brick and mortar.
The pandemic and COVID and all of this that kind of stopped us in time, it's the perfect opportunity to create a new dream or to think of something new. Like, it's not about returning or doing what we did or when could we go to the restaurant again? It's like a time to say, let's do it this way.
We're starting to see a more broad understanding of what art is and what it can be. I think it's a better understanding of that fashion is also art, that these skateboard decks are also art, that video can be art, gifts, NFTs, it starts a whole other conversation, which I think is ill. And it also gives people that, it reminds them that they can do pretty much anything.
I don't think I would have had the success that I had and still have as a brand and as a business and as a mission-driven business. I wouldn't have had that without Old City and First Fridays.
I kind of like to think of this like on First Fridays, everyone that we know can come out and get a chance to meet the other fans, friends, family of those artists, and it's just like this ever-expanding network.
It's a place where we are recognized for cultural art, diverse art, and it's like 4 big blocks of art galleries just having fun.
Too often I talk to people about it and they're not aware of it, which blows my mind. And these are people who love art or in the music scene, maybe they're in the fashion scene. So in the future, I can see it being a creative hub for people to just meet down there, get together and talk and discuss and bounce ideas off each other. And I feel like it's headed there.
Everything that goes around must come back to where it began. I see it like shining.
I want the streets to be filled with people, and I want there to be a big neighborhood-wide party.
You can always come to Old City on the First Friday, have a good time, see some amazing artwork, and be around people of all shapes, sizes, cultures, ethnicities, and talk about something we all can enjoy, which is art.
With this community, what we can do is limitless.
Looking at where First Friday is going, I think that everything is going in the right direction. And I think that soon all the galleries will be back open for First Fridays and having their events, and we'll be having our events, and it'll be a party again.
The things that happen in cities are that you have to create a place where there is a certain energy. The role of First Friday was to serve as a stimulator, an activator of something. And what's important is that Old City has become a lively part of the city's persona. But none of that would have happened without the attention that was drawn to it by this big sign that says, First Friday, come and check it out.
Come experience First Friday.
Meet people, meet the artists, meet the curators.
Find inspiration.
Bring it on.